Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. It's about 2:36 p.m. here, California time. Covering this activity out in the Gulf of Mexico right now with a developing hurricane. Well, it is a Category 1 right now. Hurricane Helene here, expected to be a Category 4 tomorrow at around 11 a.m. here. This is trending more on the more serious side of things here for the folks along the Florida Panhandle area. It looks like Tallahassee going to get the brunt of that eastern side of the eye wall. Now, right now, the current conditions here for Hurricane Helene, 85 mile per hour sustained winds there. So Category 1. Again, it is expected to rapidly strengthen here over the next 24 hours and jump up to a Category 4 hurricane, major hurricane status right there. There is hurricane warnings obviously in effect here across the Florida Panhandle and the western areas here along the coast of Florida in the red. Tropical storm warnings there in the blue. Main area of concern, of course, is going to be this region right here. As we follow that line, it goes right into this area. I want to pull up the windy map here and show you guys as we put this into motion. Now, this is from the National Hurricane Center, these expected categories here. If we look at the ECMWF model, kind of interesting there. They're only showing a Category 1, right? That's a little odd for the National Hurricane Center to put a lot of faith there that this is going to blow up into a big tropical system, when the EMSC model there showing only Category 1. The UKM, even less, showing it weakening. I don't see any of these two being accurate. If anything, this thing is going to rapidly intensify, strengthen up to that Category 4 status. Now, that is going to be a low-grade Category 4, 132 mile per hour sustained winds there. Of course, Category 4 is going to be between 131 and 155 mile per hour sustained winds. Goodness. Going to be pretty powerful. So put this into motion here. See what we got right there is for tomorrow at about 11 a.m. Looking at pressure way down there. So a lot of strengthening going on. As we put this further into motion here, we can track this inland. And this eye wall here, the National Hurricane Center actually has this going off of track here, off of this cone of uncertainty, as far as the model goes. But you guys see that? Hold on a second, let's back up here. The red is where it's supposed to be on the map, but look at the area of circulation here. So there might be a little bit of error issue with this weather model, because they're showing it right here just west of Tallahassee. And if that takes place there, normally the eastern side of the eye wall here is where you get all the strongest convection band. South and eastern areas, that's where a lot of the amplification for convection takes place. So pretty big deal. And again, it just looks like this weather model is a little off here for the graphic, but they are forecasting a Category 4. And if you look here on the expected, where are they at here? There's so many. Well, let's check this out real quick. Beautiful developing area of circulation here. As it enters deeper into the Gulf of Mexico, away from land, it's going to rapidly strengthen here and head off to the north and a little bit to the northeast. You can follow some of the patterns here in the upper air dynamics, getting a little bit of wind shear pulling off in that direction. So that should steer this hurricane directly in that location right here towards the Tallahassee area. Now, here is the main concern for wind threat, right? Tallahassee there in the purple, potential for wind greater than 110 miles per hour. That's obvious there. Inland, 74 to 110. Big time storm surge out here as well. Goodness, they're talking about up to 18 feet or so in certain areas, as noted here on the map in the purple. Flooding rain threat's going to be a big deal as well across the Tallahassee area and wherever the main area of circulation is around this hurricane. Potential for extreme flooding rain. Tornado, greatest threat's going to be here along the eastern side where we get the convection bands pulling up moisture from the southwest, creating those rotating embedded supercell thunderstorms that can produce tornadoes. Looks like that is a little enhanced area Potential for many tornadoes taking place here just north of Jacksonville, Florida. Let me see what the Storm Prediction Center here has for tomorrow. There's the enhanced area down here. Tornado threat. Ooh, they've upgraded this here to a fairly decent 10% probability of tornado activity here across Savannah and just north there of Jacksonville. Wind, maybe no hail threat, but main threat looks to be some tornado activity out there big time for tomorrow. 10%, 5% there in the brown, 2% here in the green. Going to be a pretty bad storm there for those folks. All right, the latest model run here, the latest guidance intensity model here. Look at all these models trending towards a low category 4. So this is getting more and more serious as the hours progress for the folks there awaiting Hurricane Helene. Well, hopefully they're not waiting. There's quite a few mandatory evacuations out there all up and down the coast there of Florida. And if they are asking you to get out or demanding you to get out, probably a good idea to pay attention to this. This is going to be a serious storm, category 4, no joke. Definitely looking at some significant not only wind damage, but the flooding and the storm surge. And, of course, you mix in the tornado activity here as well, and it makes it even worse. So here is the expected pressure gradient here from the WRF model showing Hurricane Helene roughly tomorrow afternoon here. Now, look at that pressure. 934. Okay, 934 is a fairly moderate Category 4. Category 4 runs between 920 MB and 944 MB. So the lower the pressure difference here, or the lower the pressure number, the stronger that area of circulation is. Category 5, anything below about 919. I don't know if we're going to get that low, but the weather forecasting models are definitely showing a strong Category 4 here, slamming right in to the Tallahassee area. Goodness, that's going to be a crazy deal, folks. Got to make sure you're prepared. Get out of harm's way. I know quite a few storm chasers are heading out there. A lot of them know what they're doing. A lot of them don't. They're in it for the fame and the fortune and getting some good video and selling it to the news media. But also at the same time, if they get stranded out there, then something bad wouldn't be good. Could see a loss of life, and hopefully we don't get that. But as with any major hurricane out here, there's always that possibility. So there's the EMSC. Well, this is a GFS model here showing 957 on the pressure. ECMWF looks like about the same. This is all going to vary, though. I mean, we got to take into account here what is going on. What's it going to be pulling in here right now? Okay, now it's just developing. In the next probably 6 or 7 hours here, this thing should develop in eye wall, a well-defined eye wall. Let me see if I can scoot over here a little bit closer. Maybe not. This is just kind of a broad view of the Atlantic out here and Puerto Rico region. But area of circulation, it's going to be pulling in a little bit of drier air off of this land there, off the Mexico area here. But once it gets past that, it's going to have nothing but warm Gulf water here to swallow up and intensify. Yes, there is shear being noted up here with the upper level patterns. That's going to direct it and steer it more away from the Gulf, further to the north and northeast a little bit towards the Florida Panhandle. You can see those clouds all just kind of heading off in that general direction. But with the waters that warm out here, it's going to rapidly intensify. By tonight, this thing should be favorable there for an eye wall development. And again, Category 4 strength hurricane right there being forecasted. Pressure down to 937. Goodness. And that's on the WRF model. There's many different mesoscale models you can look at. HRR model, it doesn't go that far. But out here it's about 977 in the pressure difference, or in the pressure there for the hurricane. This one goes somewhat out there. The majority of them are definitely dropping in terms of pressure, but that's a serious one right there if that takes place. And that's what they're forecasting. Category 4 hurricane coming right into the area. Convective bands are going to be here on the eastern side of this eye wall. That's where all the tornadic activity is going to be taking place as it gets further up into the area. Look at these convection bands here, pulling in residual moisture off of the Atlantic and from the Gulf. All that stuff has been floating around there in the atmosphere, and of course the warmer water is out there adding to the fuel to funnel up these thunderstorms and tornado activity for tomorrow. Look at that line of severe weather probably right here tomorrow afternoon. Or tomorrow evening, I should say. Goodness. But either way, goodness, folks, serious deal. I hope everyone stays safe out there. And again, there's quite a few named storm chasers out there. Not going to throw out a bunch of names, but there is a handful of them. If you like watching storm chasers, it's there's quite a few of them out there. It's a little bit dangerous, though, when you think about it. The lowland areas out here and the potential for the storm surge to come way inland here and at a elevated level. They're talking about up to 18 feet of storm surge. That's not a joke. Even 10 feet is no joke. So we'll just watch and wait and see what happens. I'll be keeping an eye on it through the evening. I'm sure it's going to rapidly intensify, and I'll provide a little bit more update activity out here throughout the next 24 hours or so. Las Vegas area, earthquake activity 1.8 outside the Air Force Base there. A little odd, which is over here at the Air Force Base to the west, kind of up there in those mountain ranges. A couple small earthquakes up and down the western Nevada area. Southern California, I'll be down here tomorrow, thinking tomorrow afternoon, in a number of spots, checking out the landslide activity here that's been ongoing around the Rancho Palos Verdes area and also the Malibu region. Seen a lot of earthquake activity here recently, so I'm going to be looking in this general region here and talking to a few folks. Also, and it's just, Southern California has been so active in terms of earthquake activity. I'm just hoping that the big one doesn't happen while I'm down there. More than likely, I probably will feel some earthquake activity. I will be going live out here at a couple of these locations as well once I'm in a good location to provide some decent video of my findings out here. Earthquake activity, really, it's been off and on. The last somewhat, above 2.5 level, that's that one down south there along the Elsinore Fault. Looks to be that 2.9 over here near the Lenox area, looks like, south of Englewood, east of the Los Angeles International Airport. And that area, I've seen a couple smaller earthquakes out there, but that's just a mix of all the other earthquakes we've seen out here in the last 30 days. I want to show you guys just the last 30 days out here. We could bring in Nevada as well. In fact, we could probably bring in the last couple months here, last 2 months, and this would be double the number. But specifically in this area here, 1,590 earthquakes, with the largest going to be the 4.7 there in Malibu, 3.9 in Ontario, 3.7 Malibu. A lot of bouncing back and forth here between the swarming area, the Malibu area, Bakersfield region, Ridgecrest, a couple different swarms here in the Fontana area. I mean, it's all bunching up here against the San Andreas Fault. We even had a decent amount of swarming there along the plate boundary, and it's gearing up. It's definitely gearing up, I feel, for some larger scale movement. But we got these little periods of quietness, and I can't say it's been awfully quiet in the last couple days because we've had our own little separate swarm here in Fontana in the last 24 hours, the latest one at 2.1 in this area, and a couple other smaller earthquakes out here in the last hour, but nothing big, nothing, that's really going to be felt out here. Be my luck, I get down here tomorrow and I start feeling some earthquakes. Earthquakes really don't scare me if I'm out in the open and I know my surroundings. But if I'm on a cliff out here around Malibu, taking in some scenery or looking at the geology out here, I'm going to be a little bit nervous because it's a beautiful area, but also at the same time, I don't want to go sliding off here into the ocean. But I got to get down there. And that's what I'm going to do. I've been wanting to get down here for a little while. Now with the elevated earthquake activity, Missy Mimi's will be with me as well. So we'll be live streaming once we get down here. And chat with a few folks that may want to chat with us. A lot of people don't want to be on camera, don't want to be on video. And that's okay. But for the folks out here that I do interact with, I'll kind of be asking a few things here. Maybe some local local authorities can help me out with some of the locations of various interests out here across the Palos Verdes area, where the landslide activity has been taking place. Last year a lot, this year getting some activity as well. And I'll check it out. A lot to check out down there. So what have we got here? A couple more earthquakes here in Las Vegas. Goodness, I was just chatting about it. So we got one more earthquake, 1.9 here. Just outside the Las Vegas region. Not for sure what's out there. Underneath this area, whole new development looks like. Or old development, I don't know. Las Vegas has grown. I haven't been down there in a little while. But they do get some earthquake activity. And this is actually nothing compared to what they have seen here in the last 30 days. A swarm of activity. It looks like it's working its way down south, or trying to. That's a little bit more worrisome, is because I feel this earthquake activity here on the western side of Nevada is in relation to what's going on down here across the plate boundary. You can pretty much draw a line on the east side of the Sierra Nevada mountains to Las Vegas area, westward here through the Garlock Fault shear zone and various other faults that run opposite of the normal plate boundary here, which is the San Andreas Fault, north to south or northwest to southeast motion along the plate boundary. But these shear zones here accumulate some strain as well. So when things build up here across the plate boundary, I can't help but think that all this activity up north here in Nevada is related to the strain out here in the general region. A lot of activity out here across Nevada recently. Let me see if I can just pull that up there. Almost 800 earthquakes, and we could go back a little bit more, but that swarm consisted of numerous earthquakes from the Walker Lake area down through Tonopah, and now a little bit more southward migration here. So a little bit of interesting activity taking place out here for sure. But I'll be down there tomorrow, folks, in the Malibu area, in the Palos Verdes area. If you can think of any thing for me to check out, I do have this area marked and the Malibu area marked as well. If there's anything else you want me to check out while I'm down there, let me know. I will be glad to check it out. Geology, that is, earthquake related. And I'm sure there's awesome views down here. I've seen it out here, and I'll of course get some scenery views as well. But the main trip here going to be focused on the fault systems out there and landslide activity. As far as earthquake activity right now, 5.3 earthquake into, well, that's the largest magnitude. I was going to say 4.4 earthquake into the Argentina area once again. This area has seen a lot of earthquake activity here, centered around the center portion of the Peru-Chile Trench, and that's a major player for some large earthquakes, let me tell you. All right, folks, space weather activity, a little bit of off and on fluctuation here of the KP index, so we could see auroras after dark there across the eastern portion of the country. Remainder, obviously, as it gets darker and darker through the evening, with some unsettled KP index there. Auroras could be possible up there at the higher latitude, so keep your eyes open. Potentially upwards of a G1 class storm here tonight. There it is. And then dwindling by tomorrow. But we'll definitely keep an eye there on Hurricane Helene, which is a big player. Look at that, 15 to 20 feet storm surge. Hold on, that is crazy. You guys see that? Peak storm surge. 15 to 20 feet across that area. Last time I heard it was 18 feet. It keeps going up and up and up. You guys see that? Yeah, that is no joke there, folks. I mean, it's risky being out there getting some footage. But good luck to the folks that are out there, storm chasers. And I'll be down in Southern California. I guess, either way we look at it, there's always environmental, natural hazards, and disaster possibilities out here. They could take place at any given time. Southern California could have a big one tomorrow while I'm down there. It just, we could have a big one up north. It's just, we live on a very active world. And if we didn't have this activity, we wouldn't have all these beautiful mountains and all these other fine scenic views to enjoy. So unfortunately, it's part of life. We just got to make sure we're prepared. Hurricanes, we know full well, at least a day or so in advance to get out of there. Earthquakes, not so much. I mean, we got these little earthquake swarms that pop up, and it's been active out here in Southern California, but no one knows specifically any time, date, or place when a big one's going to strike out here. All right, folks, have a good one. We'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later. I just want to jump in and cover a little bit more on that hurricane activity. Stay safe, and especially out in the Florida area. Take care, folks.